sustainable fashion means having clothing that actually makes you happy when you wear them, especially because of the lack of impact and waste that went into making the items.
To me, sustainable fashion is fashion that respects the workers, the resources used, and the communities that those resources are taken from and that the factories reside in.
To me, sustainable fashion means improving our status quo and creating garments that put people and our planet before profits.
Sustainable fashion means to me quality clothing that leaves the least amount of waste on the planet and are made by garment workers that are receiving fair wages.
To me, sustainable fashion means clothing that will last longer and will ultimately produce less textile waste.
Sustainable fashion means to me great looking clothes that last, that honor planet and people.
To me, sustainable fashion means timeless quality that endures. It's about garments and accessories that are produced by fairly compensated makers and are sold by workers who are paid a living wage. It's about looking great without being wasteful or exploitive.
And environmental justice affects my life because I'm growing up in a generation where we're being told every single day that if we don't change our mindsets and our actions, it's going to seriously affect our future.
Environmental justice matters to me because in just over a decade, my hometown is projected to be completely underwater.
Environmental justice affects my life because I want to make sure that my nieces and nephew have clean water and clean air to drink and breathe when they're old.
Environmental justice is important in my life because as a fashion major, I'm a part of an industry that has incorporated to the amount of waste on our planet, and I want to help reverse it.
Environmental justice affects my life because as an environmental design, policy, and planning major, I'm aware of how much waste we produce and how that affects our earth and will affect future generations.
Environmental justice affects my life in several ways, and the most immediate is that I live in Harlem, New York, where there are a lot of environmental toxins. So people like me who have asthma because of environmental factors have to figure out when we can go outside, when we can exercise outside, and environmental justice would be really a great tool to solve these problems, to figure out how to distribute harm equitably.
Environmental justice affects my life because I live in the world and I want to enjoy the natural beauty that can be found everywhere, especially in New York City.
As a sustainable alternative, I like to use cloth face masks, and I also try to buy items that are made out of recyclable or compostable materials. And I also try to bring my own utensils if possible.
A sustainable alternative that I use is my reusable water bottle. This small act saves me hundreds of plastic water bottles a month.
I use a glass mason jar as a sustainable alternative to plastic water bottles.
One new sustainable alternative that I've been using are toothpaste tablets instead of a plastic tube.
I use stasher bags as an alternative to one-time use Ziploc bags.
In my everyday life, one of the things that's really meaningful to me to, be more sustainable is using old t-shirts and towels as rags, so I don't have to rely on sponges or paper towels as much, although they have their place.
One thing I do to save trees and eliminate waste is to use cloth napkins as a sustainable, elegant alternative to throwaway paper.
One tip to leading a more sustainable life is to actually think about whether or not you need a product and if it brings you happiness when using it.
One tip to lead a more sustainable life is to live really consciously. Understand that everything has a story behind it. That t-shirt in your closet is not just a t-shirt, it's so much more. It's the fiber that's harvested from the earth. It's the countless artisans' hands that used to manipulate and sew it together. It is the factory conditions that it was made in. It all has a story.
One tip I would give to live a more sustainable life is to start small. Switch from paper to plastic and then try a reusable bag. Every little bit counts.
One tip I would give if you want to live a more sustainable life is to shop small and do some research before you buy an item.
One tip to lead a more sustainable life is to definitely value quality over quantity and to invest into pieces that will last longer.
One tip to lead a sustainable life is to use cloth napkins. Over time, they're a lot less expensive than paper napkins, and they make every meal fancier, even if it's just a meal of potato chips and soda.
My tip to you is to stop using single-use products. Wear reusable face masks instead of disposables. So visit Custom Collaborative's website. We have very fashionable, sustainable merchandise. Thank you.